It wasn't like nothing is consistent when it comes to online, and that was like part of the pains. Like we usually discover things late, so it's like at the end of the month we're like, oh shit, we could have improved this while it's like still running. Um, we've throughout the past year we've managed to change the way we work internally. So now we work on like 3 day sprints. So we work much faster, and we need the tool that gives us reports way faster for us to improve on every sprint.
All right, Izzy, welcome to the Agency Spotlight series. How are you doing today, first of all?
I'm doing great.
Uh,
Thanks, Kevin, for having me in.
yeah, and you're down in Chile, right?
Yes, we're in Santiago, Chile.
Nice. And so when we start everyone off, we just have a couple basic questions that we start with. So could you just tell me a little bit about your agency in terms of number of employees? Do you have a niche, or like what kind of services do you typically offer? And
Yeah.
then also just what's your average client size?
Perfect. We're a growth agency. We offer like three core services: marketing, sales, and client services. We're a HubSpot agency. We only deliver our services on top of HubSpot. We since 2015 when we started till today, we grew up from just me and my partner and also my wife. Today we're 15. I think we'll be 20 by the end of the year. That's the plan.
Dang, that's awesome. And is there any particular type of client you go after?
We have like our clients are split into SaaS companies, mainly SaaS companies, education. Like we have three clients: universities, financial institutes. Those are like the type of enterprise clients that we have.
Okay, nice. And is there an average deal size that you can share?
Our like average deal size is like it's hard to say, but we have a range from $4,000 all the way up to $12,000.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. And what was life like before you were using Databox?
Life was hard before using Databox. It was like our monthly reporting with the client was really painful. It used to take us like 2 days to prepare the reports, lots of screenshots, lots of CSV exports. We have to work with Excels to create like charts. And the reporting meeting was more of we're just reading the numbers. We're not really um, getting anything actionable out of the meeting. Um, so, and like after Databox, that changed because we started building a dashboard that like automatically updates. It's like real time data. So we don't have to spend time actually crunching these numbers. We can just build the dashboard for that.
And when you said 2 days, is that 2 days per week, 2 days per month?
It's 2 days per month.
And was that two
Yeah.
days for every client, or was it like one like account strategist or account manager would cover all their clients within those 2 days?
It was like one account manager covering probably like four clients in those 2 days. And the hard part was going into like HubSpot and going to analytics. And if there's like any Facebook metrics that we need to get, we go to Facebook for that. So.
And then were there any like surprises that came up at the end of the month when you were doing that you felt like your account managers should have been on top of, or were things pretty consistent?
It wasn't like nothing is consistent when it comes to online, and that was like part of the pains. Like we usually discover things late, so it's like at the end of the month we're like, oh shit, we could have improved this while it's like still running. Um, we've throughout the past year we've managed to change the way we work internally. So now we work on like 3 day sprints. So we work much faster, and we need the tool that gives us reports way faster for us to improve on every sprint.
Nice. Okay, so I wanted to take a step back here and like talk about when you start off with clients. How do you guys set goals in the first place? How does that interaction work?
Yeah, we start talking about goals before actually them becoming a client. It starts from the sales process. It's all based on the goals, like what are you guys trying to achieve, and we try to tie those goals into like real business metrics, like what does that mean in revenue or number of employees or market share. Like we try to have like a metric that's tied to a core business objective. And we start to reverse engineer the funnel from that. Like, okay, to achieve this revenue goal, how many customers do you need by the end of the year? And out of those customers, how many of them can you achieve today without doing anything? So we try to find the gap, and we try to find, okay, what's the conversion rate from qualified opportunity to a customer? So we have a target like or a goal for like qualified opportunities, and we work it in reverse all the way to like leads and traffic and conversion rates.
Sure. And are clients used to being talked to like that, like having a very specific revenue goal and working backwards from that, or is that a new concept?
It is a new concept. There's different reactions to it. Like some prospects get suspicious, like it's too many questions. Some of them, they actually never thought of it this way. And some like new businesses, it's hard to have those like numbers and metrics because there's no previous data to build on. So we have a combination, and it's usually like we book like a 4-hour workshop to go through this goal setting exercise.
And what are some common goal strategies they used before they worked with you? Was it just increase revenue?
It's usually I want to increase revenue. I just want to sell more. It's not really specific. It's just I want more. But when you ask like, okay, when you want to sell more, you want to sell more to existing clients or new clients, or what's your existing capacity of selling more? How many clients do you lose per year? Maybe you don't really need to sell more, but like retain more clients.
Yeah, sure. That all makes sense. And so from your end, how do you decide if you're setting the right goal or not in the first place? Like, how do you decide if you're creating a problem that's going to happen down the line, or like how do you set the right expectations around that?
We okay, like because like we try to get the goal that's really something achievable. So like if my goal to like if we get goals, I want to sell for $1 million, but I'm selling for $10,000 today. Like we start to ask questions: how do you see that achievable? Like what would make like are you releasing new features? Is there like a new market you're selling into? Like where is this big change is going to happen? How it's going to happen? And I think this conversation and making actually the client think about it or the prospect think about it, we somehow tie it back to reality.
Right. So are you saying they come in with like, this feature is going to change everything for our business, and then you guys are like, well, let's take a step back here and like form a real estimate?
Yeah, and we share with them like basic industry standards of like conversion rates, or like those are like the top 25% performers, or those are the top 10% performance. So when we set goals, we have to be within the like if the standard conversion rate is around 7%, then we shouldn't be actually building strategy on 70% conversion. We need to think of other ideas.
Got it. So you have that goal that you set with them up front, and is that an annual goal, a quarterly goal?
It's an annual goal. We work like with a 12-month retainer, so it's an annual goal. How do we achieve the goal? How are we going to break it down into quarterly smaller goals is what we set up during setting up the strategy with the client.
Yeah, so could you tell me a little bit more about that from your end? Like how within your team do you make sure that you're on track to hit that goal along the way?
Yeah. So for example, like we work like reverse engineer from the revenue goal all the way to like traffic leads, number of deals created every month. And this is where Databox helped us with, is that we actually set like the alerts, goals and notifications for every client on weekly basis. So like every week we're getting the alerts of how far are we from the goal. It's not just a number of how many leads we generated, but are we like 75% away? Are we 50% away? And this is like where we start the internal discussion of what we need to optimize, what we need to drill down into, understand what's not working well, and constantly improving it.
When you say the internal discussion, who are the different parties that are involved in that?
We have the account manager, the what we call the inbounders, the actual people in HubSpot building the assets. We have journalists or content marketers, and a designer, like a UI designer, like if we need to build pages or templates.
Yeah, sure. And how do you make sure all those people are communicating throughout the week or throughout the month? Is there like a meeting, or is it more that you expect it's going on independently?
Yeah, we have several type of meetings. Like every team have there's a daily stand-up meeting. We have the sprint planning meeting, and we have like a weekly strategy meeting that we just discuss the different dashboards. When it comes to the metrics and the strategies, it will be the weekly meeting that the team have to look at the 6 clients they're managing and how the performance and how far away from the goal.
Yeah, sure. And whose responsibility is that? Is it the individual inbounder's goal responsibility to like bring stuff to the meeting, or the account manager to hold them accountable?
It's the account manager role, because he owns the metrics. He's responsible for delivering the results to the clients and working with the team, making sure that we're hitting the goals.
Yeah, sure. And does he use Databox to support that at all, or is that something that's going on separately in a spreadsheet?
He uses Databox. Like we build the dashboards, so we have the links for the dashboards. He gets the alerts on Slack, the scorecards in the email.
Yeah. So he gets it from every channel.
Yes.
How do you guys choose which alerts to set up? Do you just set ones up around negative outcomes, or avoiding negative outcomes, or do you set one about positive outcomes? How do you guys decide that?
We set how far from the goal are we. So the traffic goal, the lead goals, MQLs, SQLs, the numbers of leads created. So we have, like, based on the strategy we're working with the client, different set of goals, and we get alerts for that.
Okay, got it. Nice. And okay, so we've covered how you guys are doing this internally. Now let's talk about how you communicate that to the client. Is the account manager then sharing updates on a weekly basis or monthly basis? How do they share that? With the client?
We're sharing an update. There's like an email update that goes out to the client on a weekly basis with like the key metrics, how it's performing, how far away or close to the goal are we for that week. We send scorecards to the clients, so their emails, they get the weekly scorecard automatically from Databox. And there's the monthly meeting with the client. And after Databox, because of like all of the information the client is getting throughout the month, the monthly meeting is more of a strategy meeting. It's more of discussing like the meaning of the data and not actually just reading the numbers on the screen.
Right. So with those weekly emails that you're doing back and forth with the client, what happens if there's a bad result in there? How do you guys address that?
We usually like we put like our recommendation of next steps. Like, this is what we need to do. Like those are the, for example, if there's like a Facebook campaign that's not, some of the ad sets are not performing well. Like, those are the ad sets that we're turning off. We're changing the audiences or refining them to be this. So we put a recommendation like what we're doing next, and compare the results like this week and the week after.
And then, are your clients able to keep up with those weekly emails and like stay on top of it, or is it more in the monthly meeting you're still refreshing and presenting the same stuff?
It depends. Like, some of them really enjoy drilling down in data, and some of them like it's like we know the email is never opened until the monthly meeting.
Right. Okay. So then you cater the discussion to each one.
Yeah.
Nice. And how have the clients reacted to that level of communication, having weekly emails from you guys? I guess we can talk about the ones that are more data-driven and are paying attention on a weekly basis. Is that something that goes beyond what they had expected of working with you, or is that something you sold up front and that was one of your value props? Like, how have they reacted to that level of communication? It's
one of our value proposition. It's one of our key differentiators in the market. Like we're data driven. We're not emotionally attached to our strategies or what we do. If the data shows like what we're doing is not working, we're trashing it and pivoting. And I think the clients like that because it's also like shows transparency. Like we're not trying to hide any information or manipulate the data in any way.
Have you seen any impact? This might be like a longer term thing, but have you seen any impact on retention, like clients sticking around with you longer because they feel like you're being transparent, or has that been consistent before and after Databox?
Our retention, like year after year, is getting better. Databox would be one of the reasons. Like the whole transparency culture, the clients appreciate, and I think also the like one of the key differentiators is the whole data-driven strategy. So we're not really selling fluff.
And is that what you usually compete with, you think, in the sales process, where there might be working with a more traditional agency?
We actually use Databox dashboards in the sales process. So we open dashboards and we show the clients this is how we work. We're not selling fluff. Everything is goal, like data-driven and is goal-based.
Have you gotten any specific reactions from them from the dashboard, or is it more that you can see the gears start turning?
I can see the gears start turning with the dashboards and the Databox dashboards. They're pretty dashboards, so they look like wow. You've invested month developing these dashboards, like.
Right, and then it's a product that's out of the box, actually.
Exactly.
All right. That's awesome. I think I've covered all the questions here that I wanted to go through. Is there any other main lesson or main story with Databox that you wanted to share?
No, we're good.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for your time, Izzy, and hopefully we can do a check-in in like 6 or 12 months, and we'll have some more cool stories to tell.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Kevin,
All right,
and thanks for the opportunity.